Hey, fourth graders, welcome back. All right, let's get into our next project, and that is going to be the autumn tree. Notice the colors up in the treetop, all the colors of autumn when the leaves change, the yellow, orange, and red. And this is like you're really low, looking up at a tree, a really tall tree. And that's also called a bug's eye view. Can you imagine what everything looks like to a bug looking up at everything? So that's the opposite of a bird's eye view, as a bird would be looking down at everything. So that's what you would call this, a bug's eye view. And we'll put it at an angle because it really makes it look more dramatic, like you're really looking up at the tree. Maybe you're walking through the forest or something. But the colors here, I want to talk about your analogous color scheme, which we've used on other projects already. And you'll notice a lot, the yellows and the reds and the oranges are all blended together, but those are all analogous colors because you have on the color wheel, remember analogous colors are colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. So you have yellow, and move this up a little bit. You have yellow, yellow, orange, orange, red, orange, and red. And of course you can you can get all of these colors by overlapping. Right here I colored in yellow and overlapped the orange on top of the yellow to make the yellow orange. And I colored the orange all the way to here, then I overlapped the red on top of the orange to make red orange, and then you just have red over here. And that's kind of what you're doing on the tree to a great extent and also. So okay, let me show you how you make this. Of course, you're going to need a sheet of paper and a pencil and your red, orange, and yellow crayon, and you'll also want a brown crayon and a black crayon also. All right, let's go. Try to straighten this out a little bit. Putting crayons down, and here we go. All right, we'll start here in the corner, and you want it to get narrower as it goes up near the top. Otherwise, it won't look like it's getting further and further away. And how you do the top, well, that's up to you. I'm going to put some lines like this up there at the top. Every tree is a little different. And as you're working your way down, usually the branches are a little wider, and then they get narrower further away. But it depends on the tree. Not all trees are exactly the same. And how many branches you want to put, that's up to you too. But I think about this many is pretty good. Okay, yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Now I'm going to erase the little parts where it's attached. Okay, there we go. All right, darken this up so you all can see it better. I tend to draw very lightly, but for the videos I probably need to draw a little harder so you all can see what I've done. All right, there we go. All right, so it looks like you're way down low looking way up high. Now, when it comes to how you do the part around the tree for the fall colors, and there's different ways you can do that. This is how I did this one. But just pick a spot, and some people like to make it a little more, like this. That might go off the paper up here. That's okay. Does that. So I'm doing this a little bit differently than I did the other one. So there we go. And you can make it bunchier and bigger up here if you want, but alright, there we go. I think that looks alright. I think I want to move this a little further away over here. There we go. Get a little punchier over here. This is the time to fix this stuff before you start coloring. There we go. Yeah, I like that a little better. It was a little too skinny. Alright, here we go. Now it's time to color in. I like to start with the yellow. You may want your yellow near the edge and go orange and then red, or here I started with yellow in the middle and did some orange and then red out here. I like it that way better. I think it looks more dramatic, but that's a personal choice. So I'm going to go ahead and start coloring the first part. It's okay if the yellow goes in towards the edge here too a little bit. I'm going to sort of color lightly near the edge and a little darker there. Pushing a little harder, I mean. I like to get some circular motions. It looks more like a tree that way. Leaves on a tree anyway. Come in here. Here. You might want to work a little more slowly than me. I do have time constraints due to the 15 minutes I get to make the video. I'm going to go in for some orange next and blend it together. You know how you do your strokes of color. Some people like to color more straight. I like to, for a tree top, I like to curve it a little more curly Q lines, loopy lines, whatever you want to call them. Blend some of the yellow and orange together. That'll give you some yellow orange. A little up here. Get out near the edge a little bit with the orange. Lots of layers. If your hand starts hurting, shake it out a little bit. Rest it. I've been making videos all day, so my hands and my arm are pretty tired. They usually are at the end of the day. After drawing and coloring all day, doing examples. Alright. I want to go a little bit harder with the orange. I want it to be a little more saturated with color, more full of. Like you saturate a sponge with water, I'm going to saturate this paper with orange crayon. Sometimes I'll come in here and just add a little more like this. All it to the edges. I'll add red to it later. Takes a little longer. to color in loops like this. But every once in a while you got to go over it like this to fill in some of the white spaces. And this side. Okay, I'll start adding a little bit of red, especially near the edge. Might come around the edge like this a little bit first. This side too, give it some definition. Sort of come in like this and get some little lines around the outer edge like this, make it look a little more three-dimensional. Alright, so make sure you get your edges really good, give it definition, keep adding layers. Eventually you'll look at it and see that you have as much as you really need or want. Okay, then get your brown crayon and start coloring in the tree. There we go. And get it all colored in all the way down to the bottom, all the little branches, both sides. Just keep on coloring that tree in. Alright, keep doing that. Keep on coloring. When you get down to this part, you might want to, if you work on your kitchen table or something, you might want to put a little piece of paper or a piece of newspaper or something under there so you don't mess your table up at home. There we go. And then get your black crayon and get all that detail on there. Some little wiggly lines, make your tree look a little more realistic. Up into here. Give it some definition. You can make them straight or curvy. I like the curvy ones. It looks a little more natural. Yeah, look at that. Give it some texture. Looks like it has texture now. And the last part is your sky, so I get the blue. Get a darker blue crayon and just put some little wiggly lines out here. You can make clouds if you want. It's up to you how you want to do the sky is up to you. But I would stick to some cool colors, because if you use purples and blues for the background, then you have cold colors there and warm colors here, and that'll make your tree pop, and it creates more of a contrast, and that's always a good thing. And we get a blue-green, a lighter blue, and I can sort of color on top like this. If you have paint, you could paint the background instead. You know, this will all be crayon and look very textural, and you could have paint in the background for the sky. That's always a good thing. If you're using thin paper, though, you have to be careful how wet you make your painting. But so I'm just going to kind of go on here kind of lightly so I can still see the blue lines. Probably could have added some purple lines too, but I'm just going to stick to these two blues. And these are analogous colors also, blue, green, and blue. They're right next to each other on the color wheel. You have blue, green, and blue. And there's blue, violet. Could have added some of that. I'm just going to go around and... Alright, so when you're done coloring, you'll have a bug's eye view of an autumn tree. Alright, have fun with this. Alright, take care. I can't wait to see your autumn trees. Alright, bye now.